The Gloon is one of those enemies you probably just want to avoid out in the wild because it has some crazy abilities it can do to you. Thing is though, if you tame yourself one of these, you get access to those abilities and you can turn an already heavyweight tame into an absolute monster of a creature. The Gloon really is a versatile tame and well worth the effort to get it, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get it, how to use it, and what it's good for. If you like these kind of videos and want to see more, why not consider subscribing, and yeah, maybe I'll make a few more. So if you've come across one of these out in the wild, you already know a few of the effects that you can use, but trust me, they have a few other big tricks up their sleeves. Their first ability is the ability to mesmerize. If they hit you with this, well, you will just slow down, get confused, and lose control of your character, and you are really vulnerable during this time. If you get mesmerized while on your mount, you will be dismounted, and again will find it hard to control your character. If your tame gets mesmerized, well, it will also not listen to you and won't attack, but you can remove the mesmerize effect by slapping some sense into it. Its laser beam effect will just do a small bit of damage to you over time. It can also hit you or your tame with what is called a necrotic mark, which will cause all animals in vicinity, even if they're passive, to get aggressive towards you for a short time. A wild one also has the ability to spawn revenants, and it'll spawn in a revenant that is the same level of itself, with some of them being a little bit more tanky than others and some of them exploding on death. You also have to get rid of these while you're taming it, which can be a bit of a hassle, but don't worry, I have some awesome tips for you later in the video to deal with them. We'll first go over their abilities and how to use them though, just so you know whether or not you want to tame them in the first place. So you'll have two ways to control your Gloon once it's tamed. First, you'll be able to have it on your shoulder like so, but you'll also have the option to be able to equip it as a weapon on your hotbar. This will allow you to easily switch it on and off so you can use it in both modes. While it's on your wrist, you'll be able to cycle through the different abilities that I already went through by pressing square on PlayStation 5 or by pressing R on PC. And then just a normal attack button uses the selected mode you've chosen. While it's on your shoulder, you can access the radial menu and then you'll see a few more abilities. First, you have the ability to turn on and off auto mesmerize. While it's on, the Gloon will try to mesmerize any enemies that are attacking you. You can also choose what level of weight that the Gloon will attack with the mesmerized ability. While it's on your wrist, you can mesmerize a creature by just hitting it with the mesmerize effect for a little bit of time, and then it will completely de-aggro and become docile. It has a cooldown where it has to build up 100% charge again to be used a second time, and you usually just get maybe one creature mesmerized at a time. It's extremely useful at taming creatures now, but just like hitting your tame will snap it out of the mesmerize effect, first hit on the wild tame will knock it out of the effect here, so make sure the first one counts. Using the necrotic mark can also be very useful to de-aggro creatures away from you and onto another target. All you have to do here is just hit it with the mark, which can be kind of hard for smaller creatures. But once you tag something, all the creatures in the vicinity, whether they're passive or not, will attack the creature that has the mark. So it acts just like a rare flower and it will last for around 20 seconds. You can only use one at a time, and just like the mesmerize effect, it has a little charge or build up as well to use it a second time. The final ability on your wrist is the eye beam, and this will actually use the charge that your creature has in its stats. So if you wanted to increase the length of time that you can use your eye beam, well, you would increase the charge. The beam does a little bit of damage, but it does it consistently, and it does get increased the longer it's hitting, but it will cap out. While using my neophyte trap, I was able to kind of have a look at the damage on the neophytes, and it doesn't look like it gets the 75% debuff like other creatures' abilities gets. I think it can be quite useful as a support creature also in this regard, as it can be hitting your target with a laser beam or sometimes even mesmerized ability. Because this creature is one of Rockwell's experimental creations, you'd imagine it does have some useful abilities when it comes to aberrant creatures. Just like the other light pets that you find in Aberration, you can use the Gloon to keep the Nameless at bay, as well as allow you to hit them for a hell of a lot more points. Not only that though, you can adjust the range of the cone of the light, which can allow you to hit creatures from a further distance. Here you can see the debuff is taking effect around this distance, and this is at the 45-degree angle. Switching that up to the 35-degree angle, you can see you can get a little bit more range on it. But if you decrease the angle to 15 degrees, you increase the range dramatically. I'm basically out of his aggro range here, yet I'm still getting the debuff attached to him. What's even more amazing here though is that while your charge pet is not on, so it's not emitting light, you will actually have protection from charge lights as well as flashbangs. So here you can see that I'm doing 36 damage, and this is just normally, so no charge light on. Stick on the charge light and now you can see that I'm getting the debuff activated on the Reaper, and I hit it for 184. This is normal and to be expected, but what happens when the rider jumps off and picks up their Gloon? When they jump back on, there's a slight delay, but you can see I'm hitting it for 184, but that will drop down to 36, and that is because that ability is now in effect. It does take a little bit of time to work, but it is in effect. With regards to flashbangs, it looks like you won't be affected by the first one, but it will turn off that charge protection, and if you get hit by a second one, it'll work just like a normal flashbang and keep your protection off. As I said, this effect is linked to whether or not your Gloon is emitting your charge light. You'll get a little light bulb protection icon on the bottom right if it is protecting you, but if you then turn on the Gloon's light, you will see that that icon will turn red, meaning that you do not have the protection now. You can also just use your Gloon as a light. It seems to have the same color as its eyes, so it'll give off a red light here. You can increase the cone and it will increase the light range. The only difference here is it's not a charge emitter, so it won't debuff Reapers and Nameless, and it won't use up any charge. You also are able to use the ability Slow Fall. You can turn this on and off in the radio menu just there, and when it's enabled, you will basically have a version of a parachute, meaning if you are picked up by, we'll say, a creature and dropped, you will act like a parachute and slow your fall, and when you land, you won't take any fall damage. Last but not least, we have the light bin camo, which can be selected on and off through the radial menu. This will bin the light around you, making it harder for you to be seen. Obviously, this is useful while hunting, as you can get closer to the animal without them realizing, but it is not without its limits. I mean, you can get pretty close to them without them aggroing, but if you do get too close, well, you know, they'll know you're there, and once they're aggroed onto you, it doesn't matter if you turn that on again, they know where you are. Now that you've seen all of their abilities, you probably more than likely want one of these. And although the taming process is pretty straightforward, the truth is, in practicality, it can be quite challenging. But don't worry, I have a bunch of tips and tricks to get you around some of the most common pitfalls when taming these. You'll find these spawning around the aberrant crash sites, which are pretty easy spot on the Lost Colony map, as you'll see them in bright pink on the map itself. Also, it can be a lot easier to find the Gloons at nighttime, as they really stick out in the dark, but the revenants themselves might be harder to spot, making them harder to deal with, so it might be worth tracking them in the night and then hunting them in the day. So I'll just give you a very quick overview of the taming process first, but it is a little bit more complicated in practicality. So basically what you want to do is, first of all, locate the Gloon. Then you'll have to take out all of the revenants that it has spawned. Then you shoot it in the eyes with a weapon so that it drops to the ground, and then when its lights go out, you can run up and feed it its taming food, and depending on your server settings, it will take a couple of feedings and you'll have tamed a Gloon. So the first thing to deal with is the revenants, and they will spawn at the same level that the Gloon you're looking for is. So if you're looking for a level 150, be expecting a level 150 revenants. They can be pretty hard to kill. If you don't have a really good shotgun like I do here, you could just bring a Thyla and then just use the Thyla to kill them. What you want to do here though is kind of kite them away from the Gloon and then kill them from a distance, because if the Gloon sees you and gets aggroed, you won't be able to tame it. So from a distance, just take a shot at them, and when they come over to kill you, just kill them with the Thyla or your shotgun. Keep doing this until they're all gone, and then you should be okay, you would think. The problem here though is these revenants have an awful problem of getting caught and stuck and lost in places, and if you don't kill them all, you won't get the option to tame it when you knock its lights out. So what I would do here is bring some equipment to help you find any stragglers. If it's at nighttime, you could use a bat and you'll be able to see clearly where they are. If you have access to a tech helmet, this is also a fantastic way to kind of locate any of the missing revenants. Another easy way would be to bring a snow owl, and that way you'll be able to clearly see any of them if they get lost, and you probably will have to use it. So if you have a hard-hitting tame like a Thyla as well as a snow owl, you have a great combination in case things go wrong. Now, what you'll also want to keep in mind is that the Gloon won't be able to see you if you are crouching for the most part. If you get too close, it will know you're there, but you'd want to be right on top of it before it aggroes. So you'll want to crouch all the way till you get to the Gloon. So you'll basically be trying to pick off the revenant from a distance and then slowly making your way up. Now, it will spawn more revenant as it goes down, but you'll just want to be picking them off, while you're getting closer and closer to the Gloon. Once you get close, you'll want to start picking the eyes off until it comes down and keep shooting it until the lights go out. You won't get the notification to feed it its taming food until its lights are out. The higher damage your weapon, the faster it will come down, and if you miss and hit its body, it will aggro towards you. Also, be careful where it's about to land. I mean, if you see it over the element, and there's often element around these areas, you don't want it to land in there, as you'll get damaged yourself trying to go in to get it. Also, for the taming, basic kibble is your best bet, but you can also do it with aquatic mushrooms. Just make sure it's in the last space on your hotbar, and then when you go up, you should see the prompt to feed it its taming food. And that's it. Now you know exactly what to do, you know how to tame it, and next time you spot one in the wild, I hope that you'd be more confident to grab one. If you found this video helpful, why not let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more, why not consider subbing. Alright people, catch you again.